Welcome to the Unleash Greatness podcast with your host, Jonathan Mitchell. The best in personal, emotional, spiritual, and business development.
Hello, everyone. It is I, Jonathan Mitchell. It is Unleash Greatness, another beautiful, wonderful, fantastic week. And I just want to say again, as always, thank you for listening in. You can listen to more on unleashg.com. That's unleash, the letter G.com for more podcasts or coaching or whatever else you want to find from myself or my team. Please go there and you'll find lots of good stuff. Today's podcast is Interview Day. I have with us the one and only Sean Douglas. Super grateful to have him. We had a really good conversation. He got very real and authentic, tons of good energy, and you guys are going to love it. You're going to listen in. I will have links for all of his material. He also has his own podcast. Anything you need to find with him, I'll have included on my website and also the episode. This episode, by the way, is sponsored by naturalmedicinemoms.com. For any help around natural medicine, go check it out. They got great stuff. All right, let's get going. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me. It is today Interview Day, and I have the man, Sean Douglas, on with me. Sean, thank you so much. We've had a crazy time getting together, but finally I got you, and I'm grateful, so thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me, man. We're going to make it happen no matter what.
Yeah, it's going to be great. So you guys have listened to some of my interviews. Donnie, who was on before, you're one of his buddies. I'm so glad he connected us because, again, impressive background, and I'm not going to go into too much detail because I get to let you brag on you. So please tell us about you, what you do, and your story.
Yeah, so I always love this part because you're like, geez, where do I begin? I served in the Air Force as a F-15 crew chief and then worked as a drill instructor for Air Force basic training.
Nice.
And I got to literally yell and scream and destroy lives and get paid for it. So it's like an amazing job. So I developed, over 600 men and women into military leaders. Loved every second of it. And it unlocked a passion for me that I never knew existed. I literally didn't know that I would be good at speaking, mentoring, training. I had no idea. And so after that was over, I became a resilience trainer for the U.S. Air Force and deployed all around the world in the time that I spent there. And the best part about it was I learned so many different leadership skills. So I speak on leadership. I learned resilience as a resilience trainer. So now I consider myself a master resilience implementer, right? Where I work with people to implement resilience into their personal and their professional life, especially inside their business, having business resilience, especially with the recession and everything else that's happened, government shutdown. Are you resilient? Is your business resilient to withstand that? And so what I do is I work with entrepreneurs, speakers, and business owners to increase their positioning in the market, which increases their profitability and decreases the amount of anxiety and stress that they feel every single day. And so I built a business called the Success Core, modeled after the military. The Success Core is where we unlock your true potential and elevate your life to an HNL. HNL is whole nother level. We go to a whole nother level. We don't want to play small, and we don't want to play big. We want to play massive. And so massive action yields massive results. And that's about it.
Oh, no big deal. That's about it. Well, that's awesome. So I didn't serve in the military. I had a lot of good buddies that did. And first off, I just want to say thank you so much for your service. I have family members, friends, and I just want to say thank you so much. That's awesome.
You rock, man.
And I just want to say I've always wanted to hear what a real live drill sergeant sounded like. So maybe you'll have to do it for us later.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. We'll hope to not break out break the microphone speakers or whatever.
I know, to get them tapping out, right? Well, as far as resilience, so I mean, being in the Air Force, being a resilience trainer, I mean, when you think of I'm sure you have a whole program around this, but what would you say are like the key things you see people are missing in business when it comes to resilience? So what are the skills, the mindsets, the behaviors? What is it you see that people lack?
Number one thing that I see is that everybody thinks that there's competition. When you surround yourself with competition, you're failing. Yeah. If you and I are business owners in the same industry, it would be foolish. It would be absurd for us not to be on each other's podcast, which I want to actually invite you on my podcast. But it would be absurd for us not, like, why? Yeah. Like, if we're in the same, like, are you that scared of losing sales that you don't want to get in front of my audience and I can get in front of your audience and we can like share things back and forth and collaborate? Like, collaboration is where it's at. Mm-hmm. So it comes from an abundant mindset. If I thought in a scarcity mindset, I would never have any podcasters on my show ever, which again would be foolish because people listen to podcasts and people who listen to podcasts listen to many podcasts. If you think of your business in a way of you have friends, and if you want to help out a friend, oh, no, I can't help you out because you have other friends. Right. Like, no, I can't do that. Right. It's the same way that people think of business. Like, I can't help out that business. That business is a competition. It has other businesses that, like, you're crazy. Right. So collaboration is where it's at. And that's what builds strong partnerships. And that's what builds resilient businesses, in my opinion, of course, because referrals. Okay, I would refer people to your podcast all the time with nothing in expectation. Right? I have friends that are podcasters. I refer them guests all the time. Like, bro, you need this guy on your podcast. He's amazing. Right? So I refer people, and guess what they do? Without an expectation. Hey, man, got a referral for you. This guy to make an amazing guest. Oh, dude, thanks, man. Appreciate it. A partnership has been formed. So when you need something, guess what? You've built yourself a network. A lot of businesses fail because they have a scarcity mindset. They don't want to build a network, and therefore they fail.
Right. So scarcity obviously is one. I love what you're talking about because that definitely comes up all the time in like any business. When you agree, like everyone's just like, well, what am I going to do? It's just kind of crazy, but.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So with mindset and like with yourself, like let's just talk about this show in particular. I know you have a lot of advice for a lot of people, but I love to tap into you, what you do, what unleashes your greatness, and how you're releasing that on a daily basis. How do you get yourself into the space on a daily basis to be resilient and to keep going, whether it's a good day, bad day, hard day, whatever? How do you do that?
I wake up and I do something called the Miracle Morning. Mm-hmm. And shout out to my buddy Hal Elrod. Miracle Morning is something where you do, not to get way into the weeds, but like savers and charms, which is basically like scribing, affirmations, visualizing, you're exercising, reading, that type of thing. So it's a whole morning routine. And I invite everybody to check out the Miracle Morning books. He's kind of like the Jack Canfield of morning routines and meditations. There's Miracle Morning for college students, Miracle Morning for entrepreneurs, Miracle Morning for parents and families, Miracle Morning for salespeople, Miracle Morning for real estate. Like, it's amazing what's happening with this movement. Yeah. So I do something called the Miracle Morning. And when you can win the morning, you win the day. And so I have affirmations that I say. I journal in the morning, kind of my thoughts and feelings and beliefs that I'm having. Like, I'm not having a bad day. I'm not having a good day. I'm having a bad day. I'm going to write this down. I'm having a bad day. And then I want to know why. Why am I having a bad day? Yeah. And so I'm getting all of my thoughts and feelings and beliefs out on paper. And then I have affirmations, right? Like, I have an affirmation that I wake up in the morning and say, I am intentionally and wonderfully made. Abundance flows to me and then flows through me so that I can change lives. Transformation is at my fingertips. It is on my tongue, and it is what I live for. So with these hands and my words and my heart, I will transform lives today because I am intentionally and wonderfully made. So when I have this affirmation, it gets little chills down my spine, and I'm like, whoo, I'm ready. Let's do this. Because affirmations is my love language. It's not that I love talking about myself and affirming myself. It's a belief system. Yeah. And a lot of people that don't believe in themselves have no affirmation. Well, what's great about this? I don't know. Well, think of something and say that over and over again. And so between the Miracle Morning and, you know, all the affirmations and the visualization and everything, and meditating on what it is that I have to, Tony Robbins calls it priming. I prime myself for the first 5 to 10 minutes of my day. I close my eyes. I breathe in and out at a steady pace. I breathe in abundance and I exhale stress and worry. And so what I'm doing is I'm sitting in a movie theater in my mind, watching my day unfold like a movie. I'm in the car. I'm going to whatever place I need to go to work on, to whatever. I'm going to a speaking engagement. I am going to meet a client. I'm eating lunch. What am I having for lunch? What do I want to have for lunch today? I'm visualizing. I'm like, what do I have for lunch today? Maybe it's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, whatever it is. And then I'm having my radio show and I'm on the podcast with you. And then what am I doing after that? And I run through my whole day, fast forward. I'm like, okay, I'm driving, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And I'm running through my entire day because I'm priming myself to be ready for the gifts and abundance that I'm going to receive this day. I don't play any other day but this day. And doing that for the past couple of years, oh man, exponentially growth mindset.
So have you seen a difference between like the before and afters as far as like either your energy, how your mind is, like how much you get done? Like what have you seen as before and after results?
Yes. Yes. So I'm telling you, man, you know, and listen, I used to be a drill instructor.
Yeah.
So I would wake up and I'm ready for the day. Like, let's do this. Why? Because the whole day is planned out for you. I know exactly what I need to do that day because we have a weekly activity schedule and it's broken down into hours. I know what time I need to wake up. I know what time I need to go to PT. I know what time I need to eat breakfast. It's there for me. 6 a.m., guys, we got to be in the chat hall. So let's do this. Get moving. We're screaming. We're yelling. We're getting dorm set up. We're going to class. We're going to whatever that we have to do, ruck marches, whatever it is that we're doing inside basic training is already prepared for us a week in advance.
Yeah.
So I was looking for something when I left. I'm like, oh my God. And I felt it. I wasn't a drill instructor anymore. I woke up in the morning. I'm like, what am I doing? Like, what am I? I'm going back to bed. Like, that was me. I'm like, this sucks. Like, I felt like a piece of me was missing. Then I found Miracle Morning, and I was like, oh, my gosh. So now I'm prepared. I'm more productive. I'm efficient. I'm on purpose. I'm on fire. And I know exactly what it is that I need to be doing at the right time because I schedule everything. Number one rule of success, schedule everything.
That's awesome. So can I ask, before you were doing this, because he talks about in the book how he used to sleep like, I think it was like 7 to 8 hours, you know, a night. And then he went from Miracle Morning and then he's doing like 5 or 6 or something. Like he's not even sleeping as long. Do you see yourself having the same experience?
I know my body.
Yeah.
If I sleep more than like 8 hours, I'm dead the rest of the day. Like I'll shut off all my alarms on a Saturday, you know, like Friday night, I'm like, okay, I'm shutting off all of my alarms. When I wake up is when I wake up, my body's rested. And you know what? I'll wake up 7, 8, you know, 7 or 8 hours. Like I'm awake. Right. But there are times where I wake up and I'm like, oh no, it's like 11 hours of sleep. I count back. I'm like, oh man. And I just got a headache. I feel like crap. It's like I overslept. Like I just feel like crap. But then if I get like 4 or 5 hours of sleep, I feel like crap. So my body is like 6, I'm okay. 7 is like optimum. I got a full tank.
Nice. 8,
I'm like, okay, got some reserve. 9, I'm spilling it all over the floor. 10, you know, like it's just running out of like 7 hours is golden. So what I do basically is like, okay, I know what I have my first, let's say I have to be on duty or whatever I got to do. I got to be to work or I've got to, you know, whatever it is I got to do, you know, I'm going to be there at, let's say 7 o'clock, right? So I'm like, okay, work myself backwards. So it takes me an hour. So I got to wake up at 6. So if I go to bed at like 11:30, I'm good to go. I can wake up at 6 a.m. I'm like, cool. So I'm already planning my sleep schedule based on what I have to do the next day. If I don't have my first appointment till 8, maybe I stay up till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, just working on stuff and just getting things together. So there's times where I went to bed at 3 because I don't have my first appointment until like 10. I'm like, I'll just go to bed at like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll stay up extra and get like, it's just, I work my sleep schedule that way.
When was the time in your life like that you started to go from the military life into business, and what made you do the change? Well, I mean, why not be into like a consulting or arms or something military focused? Why do you go into business?
I built 3 businesses while serving in the military.
Nice.
I came from an entrepreneurial family. My mom owned a home healthcare business. My aunt was an entrepreneur, does a lot of consulting work and some marketing and some different things for people. My uncle builds hot rods, like literally builds hot rods for people. And, he's in magazines and he races. And so I'm like, man, what am I going to do? Like, I got to do something, So I consider myself, I guess, a consultant right now because I have a lot of people that I work with. I work with like some people that, can barely pay me and kind of want to, like I want to do business. But then I've got people that are giving me money like, oh, heck yeah, like let's do it. Like I got the money, like I'm ready to go. And they're top level people, like high visibility people. So I consider myself a consultant, kind of, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. Sure. But I just love creating business. That's what I love to do. I'm not a maintenance type business person. I don't plan on being in business for more than like 10 years because I'll either get bored with it, close it, change it, modify it. Right. Like, I don't know, man. Every business I've owned, was only good for about 3 or 4 years. I'm like, all right, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more. Let me create, and I created something else. Right. I sold every business I exited. I sold, and I just wanted to go do something else. That's awesome. Like, I don't know. That's just me. So
I love this conversation on creation though, because I hear. I mean, I'm doing the MBA program right now, and I'm with a lot of people who are in entrepreneurship, and so I hear all these ideas of what people are doing. How, in your own process, when you're picking your next business to do after 1 year, 2 years, whatever, what is it that you look for in order for you to say, okay, I'm going to spend my next 2 years of my life dedicating towards this thing? Like, how do you choose that?
I'm stealing Seth Godin right now. So if Seth Godin is listening, ode to you, my friend. Seth Godin said, create products that your customers want. Don't create customers that are going to buy your products. Yeah. So if I say, well, I'm going to speak on this, or I'm going to create this book and everybody's going to buy it, that's wrong. Find the industry that interests you, get to know the industry, and then create the products that will solve problems inside of that industry. I was speaking at an event a couple of years ago, and Jeff Hoffman, who was the founder of Priceline.com, was one of the speakers. And he literally said, here's the steps to create something that's going to bring you wealth. Pick an industry. Know everything there is to know in the industry. Solve problems in the industry. The end. That's all he did. Everything Jeff Hoffman's ever done, anything that Seth Godin has ever done has been, I found a problem. Let me find a way to solve it. And I'm going to get paid for it. That's what you do. A lot of times what I see in business is somebody says, well, I know leadership, so I'm going to create something around leadership. And who pays for that? Right. Who's going to buy that? John Maxwell owns the leadership space. Mark Sanborn owns the leadership space. So have fun, buddy, because you're not going to survive, right? Right. So if I tried to compete with Gary Vee, I'd get crushed, right? If I was like, well, I'm going to be a content marketer and I'm going to build, I get crushed. So you create things that solve problems for your people that you come in contact with every day. When I became a speaker, I was speaking on resilience, on leadership, and team building, because that's what I did when I was in the military, right? That's what I did when I was a drill instructor. I taught leadership. I literally built leaders. So I was already building businesses, already had the foundation for business. And one of the things that I did was they were like, well, man, how did you get started speaking? I was like, oh, I did this and I found this. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. Let me write that down. And then somebody says, hey, man, how do you find the speaking engagements? And what did you do? I was like, oh, I did this and I did this. Oh, it's cool. Let me write that down. Started seeing a pattern. And then I created a digital product, a $47 ebook that I sell tons of because it's literally, oh, how do I find speaking engagements? Read this book. It is an entire book on how to find speaking engagements. I created that product, and I'm going to tell you what, that is the best, most selling product I have ever created in my entire life. Because it solves an immediate problem. It doesn't solve how to build a speaker business. It is a book on how to find and get booked to speak, period. Dot, end of story. It only gives you the lead generation strategies and everything that you need to know to book a speaking engagement. That book is so well written, not to plug myself, but I have a testimony where somebody got booked the same day they bought it. I'm like, I'm done. That's so right. That's awesome. Like that's what fuels me is I have the ability to create something that somebody else buys and they get immediate results from it. I derive value for that. That is what is my currency.
I could ask about a time in your life when you felt like things weren't going right, or you like hit a wall. Like, I'm not sure what the right word is, either a failure or a challenge or something.
My dark night of the soul.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily the dark night, but like a time that you felt like that you shifted and then you leveled up afterwards. You know what I mean? So what would that be for you?
Oh man.
Which one? Which of the?
Well, I'm trying to think now. Like, I mean, okay. So I'm going to, oh man. Okay, so the answer to your question, transparently, is in 2008, I put a gun in my mouth because I just felt like a failure. I built successful business. You know, I was serving in the military, but I just felt like a failure. I had no self-value, no self-esteem, no self-love. So to answer your question, in 2008, I put a gun in my mouth and I was going to take my life. Luckily, people stopped me. It didn't happen. I got therapy because of a long history of child abuse.
Yeah.
How I leveled up was somebody saw something in me, saw that I was worth saving, and that is how I became a drill instructor. When I became a drill instructor, it unlocked a passion that I never knew existed. And for the first time, literally, I didn't have a mom going, okay, son, let's go to bed and read a bedtime story. Right. I didn't have that. I was getting screamed at, getting yelled at, get your butt in bed, bed now, screaming at me. I wasn't tucked in at night like you see in the movies, because my mom was busy getting her butt kicked by my ex-stepfather.
Right.
That's how I grew up. So here I am as a drill instructor. I'm like, this is, oh my gosh. Okay. I'm not drinking anymore. I'm off pills. I'm, whatever. This is what value feels like. This is what love feels like. Oh my gosh. And I never felt like I felt this from like my grandparents and like some aunts and like, some cousins sometimes, but like I say something to somebody and all of a sudden it changes their life.
Yeah.
Unheard of. A whole different feeling came over me and I've been addicted to it since. I want to help people. I want to say, oh no, don't do that. Tweak it this way and you'll be successful. And they do it and all of a sudden their life is 10x. Come on. There's not a greater feeling than that.
Yeah. That's awesome. And obviously you've been doing it now since then. And if I can tell you, thank you for your authenticity. Like I have lost way too many people to suicide. And so I'm very, very familiar with the pain of what happens with that. And to hear that you were in a spot where you were feeling that and then someone helped you is like, I'm so warm to hear that because just the value you lead alone. Like this is our first conversation, right? And I've only listened to your podcast, that kind of stuff. And I just think to myself, if you did go through with it and I never had the experience, like my life, even though we just barely communicated and touched and that kind of stuff would be less because you weren't there anymore. Does that make sense? So it's like,
100%.
So grateful that you someone was in tune enough to help and you're here. Like, it's just awesome. I love hearing that. So thank you.
Thank you, man. You know what I want to say real quick, real quick. When I hear of people who have lost people to suicide, I just look in the mirror, right? And you can't see, but I'm really trying to hold it back right now. So yeah. I look at my life right now and what would not be. And I just, man, it's saddening because if I would have went through with what I was going to go through with, you're right. we wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't have amazing children. I wouldn't have the life that I'm living now, and a wife and kids and a house and, materialistic stuff. And I wouldn't have changed lives on stage and delivered a TEDx talk. And, so I just think of like how many opportunities are missed by those who took their life. What are we missing? Right?
Yeah.
Like how much are we missing? How much amazing things would have been created? We'll never know.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Well, I appreciate the vulnerability, and thank you, seriously. I'm so glad you're around. I get the blessing of having you.
Me too.
Two more questions for you. Is there I do book reviews all the time, so obviously would love to read your book. But for a book that you have read that has shifted your behavior, your mindset, that changed your everyday life, is there a book like that in your life?
Oh, and what would it be? Oh, 100%. Oh my God. Okay. So great pick me up. Thank you so much for bringing us out of that. So Play Bigger. Everybody right now needs to buy Play Bigger by Christopher Lochhead. This book single-handedly will change the way that you look at business forever. Forever.
I'm looking at it right now. Is that the How Pirates, Dreamers, and Innovators Create and Dominate Markets? That one?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yes. Christopher Lochhead has a podcast called Legends and Losers, which now is changed to Follow Your Different.
Nice.
Here's what he thinks about business. People pull 3 levers. He says they pull 3 levers. They pull product, they pull company, name, logo, branding, marketing, and they pull category. Those 3 levers that get pulled become category kings. Netflix, Uber, Amazon, Walmart. The companies who do not pull those 3 levers become failures, become second best. When you create a new market category and then dominate that new market category, you control 76% of the market share economics inside of that category, while everybody else, 24%.
Yeah.
So congratulations, Roku, Hulu. You're controlling Amazon Fire. You're controlling 24% of all people who are in that marketplace competing against you with streaming. Congratulations, Netflix. You'll never be unseated as the category king. Right. It's not going to happen because they did it first. They did it better and they did it differently. So I invite everybody to buy that book because it will teach you how to create categories. Had I got this book during my first business, I would have been a gozillionaire.
Gozillionaire. Not just a bajillionaire, a gozillionaire.
I would have, man, I kick my, and Christopher Lochhead is a good friend of mine. We send messages back and forth, had him on my show. I love everything he's doing. And he's like, man, he'll message me and go, dude, legendary post. Loved your content. I'm like, thanks, man. I'm just like, like he is the category king of and he wrote an article and Forbes called him a human exclamation point. Like,
that's so awesome.
He is a good dude. And that book, I'm telling you, changed my life.
I lied before. Now we have 2 more questions. The first one is, how do people get in touch with you? Where do they find you?
Yep. So I only do Facebook and LinkedIn. I don't do any of those other weird social media programs like Snapagram or InstaChat or whatever the hell they're called.
Right.
So what I do is Facebook and LinkedIn. You can find me there. And I have a Facebook group called The Success Core. That's my business, The Success Core. It's core spelled CORPS. And you can also look at my website, www.thesuccesscore, CORPS, thesuccesscore.com. And you can also listen to my radio show. It's a live online radio show, Tuesday through Friday at blogtalkradio.com/life transformation radio. And I'm also on all the podcatchers where you're comfortable listening to podcasts. So subscribe to this show if you haven't already. You're crazy for not doing it. Subscribe to his show and subscribe to mine, and then leave us both reviews because we'd love to see how we're doing.
Yeah, I love that. I will have all your links too. I always include them on everything. So if you're listening in and you want to see what in the world's going on, I got them. I got you. You got you back. Here we go. All right. So one last thing, and that's just final words of wisdom, thoughts. Like, what would be a thing you would tell someone? So, like, if someone came in to you and said, "Hey, this next week, I want to change my life. I want to do something different." What is the 1 or 2 behaviors you would tell them? Say, this next 7 days, you do this, it's going to change you. What would you do?
My message is always that you have the power to turn the page and write a new chapter. You have the ability to say, this is not how my story ends. So here's what you do. You count blessings. For the next 7 days, you use gratitude. Count 3 blessings every single day for the next 7 days. It'll give you 21 different things that you're thankful for. While you're counting blessings, I want you to think about what your life would be like if you had everything that you would ever want. Cars, houses, wives, kids, whatever. Whatever it is that you're like, oh, I must have this, whatever your non-negotiables are, figure out what your life would look like and then reverse engineer the process. How did you get that? Where do you got to go? Who do you need to talk to? Reverse engineer their process, and reverse engineering the process will give you a pathway that you can follow. So start at the end and work yourself backwards, because that is how movies are made. Whether you know it or not, that's how movies are made. They start at the end and work themselves backwards.
I love it. I love it, love it, love it. Sean Douglas, my man, again, thank you for being on with me. Again, thank you for your military service, serving the country, serving us. Thank you so much. Nothing but awesome having you on board, man. Thank you so much.
I'm honored to be on the show with you, man. I really appreciate your time.
Well, of course. And again, thank you for your authenticity, and just your energy is like this ecstatic. I love it. It's awesome.
They used to call me Hammy from Over the Hedge. Like literally as an MTI, as a drill instructor, my hat strap, somebody made me a hat strap on the back of my drill instructor hat that said Hammy. And it's like, dude, you're just like the squirrel from Over the Hedge, man. You drive us crazy. So.
Oh, it's so funny. I always think of myself more of the dog. Play.
Yes.
Oh, it's so funny. So you are the man. Thank you so much. This is Unleash Greatness. Like you said, subscribe to him, myself, whoever else. I don't care. Just push subscribe everywhere for everyone. Subscribe happy. Anyways, thank you so much. Have an amazing day, you guys. We'll talk to you soon.